1922 Echo from World Trade Center 179 calling for radio check.
1922 Echo from World Trade to 179, radio check loud and clear. When ready, you can depart World Trade. Next callback is going to be West 4th.
Copy, West 4th.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Bedford Notion, that's a copy. Next callback is going to be Metropolitan Lorimer Street.
Copy.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
1900 Fox, Herald Square, that's a copy. Next callback, Top of the Rock.
Copy.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
That's a copy. Next callback is going to be Hoystrom Horn.
Copy, Hoystrom Horn for the 1920.
Take down your Fox Rockefeller.
1900 Fox Rockefeller, that's a copy. Punch for 63rd Street. Give me a callback at Lex 63rd.
This is a Queens-bound E-train. The next stop is 14th Street.
1922 Echo at West 4th Street.
1922 Echo. 1922 Echo at West 4th. That's a copy. Next callback, Port Authority Bus Terminal.
Copy, Port Authority.
1920 Golf, I'm gonna update your callback. Your new callback is Bergen Street.
Copy, Bergen, 1920.
Golf at Hoyts for Mahorn, that's a copy. Your next callback is Bedford Nostrand. 1920 Golf, I'm gonna re-update your callback again. I'm gonna update your callback again. It's gonna be Hoyts for Mahorn.
Copy, Hoyts for Mahorn for the 1920.
This is a Queens-bound E train. The next stop is 23rd Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Golf, Metropolitan Avenue.
05 Golf, Matt Lorimer, that's a copy. Next callback, Greenpoint.
Copy, Greenpoint. Fox, that's at 63rd.
Stand clear of the
1900
closing
Fox,
doors,
left 63rd,
please.
that's a copy. Next callback, 21st Street, Queensbridge.
Copy.
Clear of the closing doors, please.
Greenpoint Avenue.
05 Golf, Greenpoint, that's a copy. Next callback is going to be Court Square, 23rd.
Stop
Copy.
50th Street.
1932 Echo, come into rail control for a radio check.
Listen to
Stand
1922
clear of the closing
Echo
doors,
at
please.
42nd Street.
1922 Echo at 42nd Street, that's a copy. Next call back 7th Avenue, 53rd.
Copy 7.
Y'all hear me, right? I'm good. I ain't never did this.
1, yes. 2, watch your language, please.
My man.
1932 Echo from World Trade to 179 radio checks loud and clear. When ready, you can depart World Trade. Let me know what you're at West 4th Street.
Got you.
1900 Fox, Queensbridge, that's a copy. Punch for Queens Boulevard Express. The next callback is Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue.
Copy.
Probably not Bedford.
1912 Golf Bedford Ocean, that's a copy. Next callback Metropolitan Lorimer.
Copy for Metropolitan.
Skirmahorn.
1920 Golf Ford Skirmahorn, that's a copy. Next callback Bedford Ocean.
The next stop
Copy, no
is
from
7th
1920.
Avenue, 53rd Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
This is 7th Avenue, 53rd Street. Transfer is available to the C and D trains. This is a Queens-bound E train. The next stop is 5th Avenue, 53rd Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Echo at 7th Avenue.
1922 Echo at 7th Avenue, 53rd, that's a copy. Next callback Lexington Avenue, 53rd.
Copy next.
05 Golf, Court Square, 23rd Street.
05 Golf Court Square, that's a copy. Next callback is Queens Plaza.
Copy, Queens Plaza.
This is 5th Avenue, 53rd Street. Transfer is available to Kansas. This is a Queens-bound E train. The next stop is Lexington Avenue, 53rd Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Oh, 05 Golf, Queens Plaza.
Plaza, that's a copy. Your next callback is going to be Jackson Place Roosevelt.
Copy.
1932 Echo at West 4th, that's a copy. Your next callback is 42nd Port Authority.
This is an accessible station. The elevator is at the rear of the platform.
Fox Roosevelt.
This is a Queens
1900 Fox Roosevelt, that's a copy. Next callback is Forest Hills.
Fort Square.
This is the 1922 Echo, Lexington 53rd.
1922 Echo at Lex 53rd, that's a copy. Your next callback is going to be Queens Plaza Station.
Copy Plaza.
Bedford Ocean, that's a copy. Your next callback is going to be Metropolitan Lorimer.
The Metropolitan Lorimer from 1920.
Metropolitan Lorimer, that's a copy. Next callback Greenpoint.
is a 179th Street bound E-Express train. The next stop is Queens Plaza.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Echo from World Trade, the 179, coming to rail control for radio check.
This is a 179th Street bound E-Express train. The next stop is
1922 Echo at Queens Plaza. That's a copy. Your next call back to Jackson Heights, Roosevelt.
Closing doors, please.
1900 Fox, Forest Hills.
1900 Fox, Forest Hills. That's a copy. Your next callback is going to be Briarwood, Van Wyck.
Copy.
You have line up at our World Trade. Next callback is West 4th. Greenpoint, that's a copy. Next callback is Court Square.
Court Square. Copy.
(1932) Echo, Port Authority, that's a copy. Next callback is 7th Avenue, 53rd. Metropolitan Lorimer, that's a copy. Your next callback is Greenpoint Avenue.
Copy Greenpoint from 1920.
Echo, your callback is 7th Avenue, 53rd Street.
Golf, Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue.
05 Golf at Jackson Heights, that's a copy. I'm going to hold you briefly for a connection with the 1922 Echo.
1922 Echo at Jackson Heights.
Express train.
Oh, there goes that. 1922 Echo at Jackson Heights, that's a copy. Connection established between the 1905 Golf and the 1922 Echo. Both trains may close down. Both trains' next callback is Forest Hills, 71st Avenue.
Copy.
Up at Forest Hills.
Enter your Fox
1900 Fox Briarwood, that's a copy. And give me a callback at your next animal. Get your last stop, 179. I apologize for that.
Copy.
7th Avenue, 53rd.
1932 Echo at 7th Avenue, 53rd. That's copy. Your next callback is Lexington, 53rd. 1942 Echo at West 4th Street. That's a copy. Your next callback is Port Authority Bus Terminal.
1920 Greenport.
1920 Gulf Greenpoint. That's a copy. Your next callback is Fort Square.
Copy Fort Square for the 1920.
RCC, call back.
1912 Gulf. Your callback is Queens Plaza Station.
That's fine.
Well, Gulf at Queens Plaza. That's a copy. Your next callback is Jackson Heights Roosevelt.
This is a 179th
Listen to
Street
the
bound
1922 Echo at Forest Hills,
Express
71st
train.
Avenue.
The next stop
1922
is
Echo at
Kew
Forest Hill,
Gardens,
71st
Union
Avenue. That's a
Turnpike.
copy. Your next callback is Kew Gardens.
You got it.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Other particular radio.
1952 Echo from World Trade to 179. Your radio check is loud and clear to RCC.
I think 32 call it in at
1932 Echo at Lexington 53rd. That's a copy. Your next callback is going to Fort Square.
My God. Copy.
Actually, correction. Sorry, Queens Plaza.
Copy.
Fox 179. That's a copy. Discharge your passengers. Take your train to the relay, please.
Copy.
Court Square for the 1920.
Court Square for the 1920 Gulf. That's a copy. I'm going to need you to catch a couple minutes at Court Square to just filter out some trains. You're getting a little closer to 1912.
Copy, hold on Court Square,
This
1920.
is a 179th
1922
Street bound
Echo,
E
Kew Gardens.
Express train. The next
1922
stop
Echo,
is
Kew Gardens,
Parsons
Union Turnpike. That's a
Boulevard.
copy. Punch for Hillside Express. Give me a call back at your last stop. 179.
Copy 179.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Trade when. Sorry, you can depart World Trade when ready. Next callback's West 4th.
West 4th, copy.
Right down here. Relay.
1900 Fox, relay, that's a copy. Lock down your train. Thank you for your service. Have a good night. Golf, close it down, take it to Queen's Plaza, please.
Copy 20, close down Queen's Plaza.
This is Carson Boulevard.
My apologies, 1942 Echo of Port Authority, that's a copy. Your next callback is 7th Avenue, 53rd.
This is a 179th Street bound E-Express train. The next and last
05 Golf,
stop
Forest Hills,
is
71st Avenue.
179th Street.
05 Golf, Forest Hills, that's a copy. Discharge your passengers, stick your trainer to relay, please.
Copy.
1932E calling that,
1932 Echo at Queen's Plaza, that's a copy. I'm going to hold you there for a brief minute until the 1920 Golf gets to the platform.
Golf, Queen's Plaza.
1920 Golf, Queen's Plaza, that's a copy. Connection established between the 1932 Echo and the 1920 Golf. Both trains may close down. Both trains next callback, Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue.
Copy Jackson Heights, 1920.
Echo, if you didn't understand, you can close. You didn't catch that, sorry. You can close now and go to Jackson Heights.
Just about to say,
Oh, okay. Echo at West 4th, that's a copy. Your next callback's 42nd Street Port Authority Bus Terminal.
42nd Street, copy.
This is the last stop on this train. Everyone, please.
Oh,
leave
5
the
Golf,
train.
D7
Thank
relay.
you for riding with MTA New York City Transit.
05 Golf, D7 relay, that's a copy. Lock down your train. Thank you for your service. Have a good night.
This is
Thank you.
the 1922 Echo at 179.
Stand clear of the closing doors.
1922
please.
Echo 179, that's a copy. Discharge your passengers. Please take the train to the relay.
Copy relay.
Jackson Heights.
12 Golf, Jackson Heights, that's a copy. Your next callback is going to be your last stop, Forest Hill 71st Avenue.
Copy for Forest Hills.
1942 Echo at 7th Avenue 53rd, that's a copy. Your next callback is Lexington 53rd.
Thanks for 22 Echo at the layout.